to the Konya Show. Thank you so much for taking some time, checking out and supporting the podcast, whether it's on iTunes, Spotify, thundermedialive.com, or watching here on Facebook or YouTube, wherever you're watching. We've gotten through the first, week or so of fall by the time this is out, of course. And we're ready to bring on October. And one thing that's floated in my age demographic and the people that I like to follow on social media is something called Sober October. Now, depending on your mindset right now, this could be the most boring idea in the world, or it could be a chance to kind of maybe reset your body, your mind, and maybe some of those bad habits that you want to make sure you're not completely addicted to. I'm using my own words, of course, but just in case my words aren't something that you relate with, I brought on somebody who's decided to do the Sober October Challenge, originated by, I think, Joe Rogan, and at least that's where I heard it from. But we have a different Joe on the show today. Please welcome Joe Sayer to the Konya Show.
Thanks for having me, Chris.
How's it going?
It's going great. I cannot complain.
How was your big birthday you just had the last couple days?
Yeah, so turning 30 made me realize I certainly can't recover like I once did. Went out to a guy's dinner Thursday night, had way too much vodka at the dinner, a few too many martinis, and Friday was a challenge. I was basically non-functioning for the majority of Friday, and I had to go to work, so that was just an absolute bear to deal with. Luckily, I was smart enough to take off the morning. Mm-hmm. And then Sunday, as you know, we went out, watched the games, and...
Well, don't skip over the big Sunday morning you had.
Oh, yeah. So Sunday morning, I decided it'd be smart to run a half marathon. That was terrible. It was for a great cause, and the feeling of success when you finish was great, but it was decided to be 80 degrees in Rochester on September 22nd, which is outrageous. And then, so it was just a bear to get through,
and Sunday we, didn't shy away from celebrating you making it to the big 3-0.
Right. We did not shy away from it.
Especially after the Bills victory. You got that second wind. I saw it in your eyes.
I was ready to go home, and then they won at the last few minutes there, and it was immediate. Like, all right, let's go to Park Ave and see where this night takes us.
Right. Okay. And now we're heading into October, and now I've always known about the Sober October thing. Again, I think it originated. At least I first heard it from Joe Rogan, the comedian, of course, the podcaster. Everybody knows who Joe Rogan is from Fear Factor. If you haven't been in the podcast or YouTube world in the last decade or so, but I'll start with why I wanted to do it, and then I'd like you to think about truly why you think it's probably a good idea. I'll admit I definitely need a reason to take a break from my biggest vice, which is consuming alcohol. It slows down everything productive that I do in my life, and I can't fairly knock it without bringing up the benefits of it, of course. I love it. I love doing it. I love the social aspect. I love how it makes everybody happy. I love the taste. I love trying new things. Of course, I like it as much, if not more, than the next guy. But the idea of Sober October, for me, I just think that it's a good reset and a good idea to make sure that I can go a month without drinking. And of course, the second half of Sober October is including some fitness that you normally wouldn't do in the month. So it's really like a big detox 4 weeks, 4-week challenge. Is there a specific reason that you immediately said yes when I asked you if you wanted to do it?
Yeah, the reason is I love to challenge myself, and I think this is going to be a huge challenge for me. I probably drink more than the average person, but that's hard to really relate because I think about it also in terms of like my friends. Do I drink more or less than they do? And typically I feel like it's less. They're going out 4 to 5 times a week. I go out 2 to 3, definitely less since I started school. But it was really the challenge, and also I've been arguing about focusing on my health. That's what I want to do, is start 30 the healthiest version of me possible, and that's not where I am. I mean, aside from running the half marathon, like I think of how much better I would do it if I had taken some breaks from drinking during that time. I think of like the Sunday morning long runs that I was supposed to do that I didn't do because I had a long run on Saturday night. So it was really the challenge of it. And then I thought going through it with you, that makes it a lot different. I've talked about sober January a bunch and then like always find excuses, right? Like, oh, it's the playoffs. Like I got to go out for the playoffs, or, oh, it's this, or, oh, it's that. So October seems like a good month. Like we'll be able to celebrate the ending of it at midnight on Halloween.
I mean, we're two 30-year-olds looking forward to Halloween like it's like we're 8 again.
I mean, who doesn't look forward to Halloween?
Sure. Though? I don't know. I just and again, I'm not doing this to like brag and tell everybody that you should stop drinking. I'm not going to be anti-drinking, but I do get pretty remorseful about drinking. I'm like that. I'm a light switch. I'm not very consistent in a lot of things that I do. Being productive, pursuing certain ideas and stuff like that. And the same goes for my attitude about cutting off drinking for a little bit. I'll stay on Wednesday just like everybody else. I'm not drinking this weekend. I'm going to feel good on Monday. It feels so good to wake up without a hangover and stuff like that. And I know that come Sunday, especially during football season, I go out, I stay out, and Monday I wake up and I'm very, very, very remorseful of the decisions that I made. So I'm really bad at staying consistent about how I feel about consuming alcohol and doing things like that. So
I'm just excited for a month with no hangover anxiety. Because to me, like, I think that's where you're talking about the remorseful decisions. For me, the hangover anxiety is the worst part. Like, oh, who did I run into last night? Did I say anything I shouldn't have? Because like I try to be pretty funny, and I think overall like that can hit the mark. But I also think sometimes after a couple too many, like that may not hit the mark. So it'd be nice to have a month without that.
And I think that if anybody wants to join us with this, definitely contact us. We're very easygoing people and inclusive and stuff like that. So if you're really interested, let's make this a little thing. It doesn't have to be anything crazy, but I didn't talk to you about this, but I do want to fill those Sunday fun days and the Friday happy hours with like other stuff. There has to be stuff to do socially besides drinking. Do you think you're the type of person that would still go out if say the doctor came to you and said you can't drink alcohol anymore, you're going to die instantly? What do you think socially you would do? Would you still go out and be around it, or would you like become a rock climbing enthusiast or something?
I don't know. It's hard because like socially, like I think about what me and all my friends do, and like it's kind of sad in a way that a lot of the commonalities in what we like to do in our social lives is go out drinking. But I wouldn't just stop hanging out with my friend group just because I couldn't drink. And I've definitely gone to the bars and not indulged, and like just it was last Monday for Monday Night Football. I went out to Kearney's. I still had food, but I was drinking water the whole time because I knew I had that half marathon coming up that week, and just really, really had some schoolwork that I needed to get done early the next morning, and was just not into it. So I definitely think you and I can find some fun things to do that aren't revolving around alcohol. It'll definitely be a challenge.
Sure.
And it's going to be hard because there's going to be things we probably have to say no to, but.
Yeah, I mean, I already know I'm invited to a barbecue. I've been invited to Bills games and stuff. And speaking of that, you're a season ticket holder. What do you think's going to happen? I mean, how's this out? First of all, how's the schedule look? Are they filled every Sunday? Are going to be?
No, I'm pretty lucky actually. So there's a home game this weekend,
which is not October yet,
right?
Based on when you're watching and stuff like that.
Yeah, the home game September 28th against the Patriots. So that'll kind of be the last hurrah, right? And then they're away in Tennessee the week after that. Then they have a bye week.
Oh, wow.
Then there is 2 home games. So there is 2 home games in October, but I think one's a class weekend, so I may not be going to that anyway. The other one's going to be a challenge because I just realized it's one of my good friend's girlfriend's 30th birthdays. And they're coming in from Philadelphia for it. So, but I'll go to the game and I'll just behave myself. And I think I was thinking of a way to like kind of hold us accountable, because it'd be really easy to just say we're doing sober October and then like 10 days in be like, screw it. Like I failed, we're out. So here's what I was thinking. I was thinking we each put up $100. If one of us fails, you give the $100 to the other person, because that's going to hurt more. But if both of us fail, then we each have to give $100 to a local charity.
Let's go. I like that. I didn't think that you'd be up for giving up $100, but I'm definitely into that. So the go-to is what? I mean, are you thinking what I'm thinking, the same charity that you did for the half marathon, or do you have another one in mind? Do you bounce around?
No, I think Gilda's Club would be a great charity to use. I mean, I'd try to support that organization as much as possible. So.
I've done stuff with and for them as well. So, okay, so that's the deal then. Let's shake on it right now.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we're going to talk a couple minutes about the fitness side of it.
Yeah.
Okay, so the deal is, if one of us breaks, does drinks or whatever that that causes you to not be sober, then we have to give the $100 to the other person.
Right.
Okay. And if both of us break, they go to both of the $100. So a total of $200 goes to Gildas.
Right. Because we shouldn't just be like, oh, we both broke. Well, Chris is giving me $100 and I'm giving him $100. We're still even.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So now the fitness end of it. I know at first, because again, back to the Joe Rogan thing, I want to give him credit for the two people who probably don't know that he started it, but they do, him and a bunch of other comedians. I know Bert Kreischer, The Machine, Tom Segura, and these other comedians you may have heard of. They do, last year they did something intense where they had to run a ton. They had to keep their heart rate up for a certain amount of time. They had like a whole point system going where if their heart rate was up for a certain amount of minutes, they get a certain amount of points. And then there's another level and then another level, and they all add up to points at the end. Whoever wins. Joe Rogan won last year. And I remember him talking about that he had a couple hours to spare. And when I say couple, I mean probably around 7, where he would watch an action movie while on an exercise bike and blast the heat up to 120 degrees in some kind of sauna atmosphere. And he was just trying to keep his heart rate up and gain those points. I don't know if we can go that intense.
Yeah, I feel like that. I mean, I have a Fitbit Charge and that can keep track of your heart rate. It gives you active minutes per day. I don't know what that actually means, but I think something more of it's easier for us to track. We could do some running, some push-ups, some sit-ups. The running's easy to track with the Map My Run. Push-ups and sit-ups, we're just going to have to be honest with each other.
System. Okay. I know originally we said 250 of each push-ups and sit-ups a week. Obviously collectively. And 10 miles of running?
10 miles.
You think that's still doable? I want to ask you because you just ran the half marathon, so I don't know how you feel about running.
No, I feel good about the 10 miles a week. I mean, if you really think about it, it's 3.5 mile runs or a little less than that.
That's going to be my biggest challenge to running.
So my biggest challenge is going to be the other part of it, the push-ups and sit-ups. I'm a big guy. I mainly do cardio. I don't really do any lifting. So 50 push-ups a day or a little underneath that is going to be a challenge for me. I've started thinking of ways all right, if I do 10 in the morning when I get up and then 10 at 10 o'clock and 10 at noon.
That's how I'm going to feel about running. I might do half a mile or, a couple times a week or 20 times a week or whatever it is and get there. And also we're going to do it collectively. So I don't know if that's the correct word, but basically if you're short 50 miles on Halloween of running, you could still run 50 miles on Halloween.
I don't recommend it.
No, that's not the
for
plan.
Those sitting at home, do not do that option.
But I think this is a great idea. It's either going to be a giant catastrophe that's going to be entertaining, or it's going to be a great accomplishment. And either way, someone wins, or whether it's you, me, or Gildas Club.
Right. Yeah. And I think it'd be great if some of your other listeners wanted to get involved in it. We could try to set up weekly sober activities, go down to Letchworth. It's gonna be autumn. It'll be beautiful down there. Go down and do a morning hike or meet in Genesee Riverway Trail. There's this beautiful river in our city that we don't really utilize, and we could take walks around there or do something focused on that. I mean, I've got to start trying to come up with ideas for that. Nice. But we can find something.
And there's plenty of alternatives like coffee shops and stuff like that. Where I mean, again, I also don't have a list of non-alcoholic social things to do, but there has to be, because there's plenty of pockets of the community that are sober and stuff like that. So
Right. No, I definitely agree.
It'd be a cool way to discover that side of Rochester. Not that you shouldn't support your local bars and stuff like that if you decide not to do something like this, but it'd be nice to see another corner of the city and what it has to offer. It really would be. All right, it's a deal then.
Sounds good, man. I'm looking forward to it as much as possible, I guess.
Have you back on in a couple of weeks to figure out what the updates are?
Yeah, that'd be great.
See if we still like each other in this idea.
Right.
All right. I appreciate it. Joe, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Setting the ground rules for Sober October. If you have any questions, you know how to get in touch with me or Joe Sayer. You can find either of us on Facebook or social media. If you have a question for one of us specifically, you can only find me. I'll get you in touch with Joe. And maybe we're the only two doing it. Maybe somebody wants to join and see if they could reset their body, their mind, and their health and stuff like that. Any questions, let me know. ChrisKonyaShow@gmail.com, or again, find me on social. Thank you so much for listening and watching and subscribing, sharing, liking, all that stuff. And until next time, see ya.